goes. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 22nd of August. So let's get cracking and looking at these markets. There's not a great deal on the news bias today. Let's just flick through here. And Tuesday, so we've got the BRICS summit going on, which doesn't normally have a large impact on our markets. US dollar existing home sales later, New Zealand retail sales very little there overall. We'll just check back onto my news for the news service for speakers. Okay, we've got speakers at sort of 7:30 this evening and 8:30, so we've got a Fed speaker at 12:30 there as well then. So Fed Barkin speaking at 12:30. No idea what they're speaking about, but they're speaking, and they can raise increased volatility in the markets and may impact your position. So just to be aware. Right. Okay, so that's all we got there. Let's look at the markets, and we'll start off as ever with the euro dollar, and we've seen a bounce. We had seen a bounce on Friday, yesterday, a little bit there, a little bit. Friday was that doji day, so we've seen a sort of a bullish bar. Just looking at it now, or a bullish combination. Just seeing a bit more of a bounce kicking in here. Was really looking at the sell side on the euro yesterday, but it's currently it broke its weekly pivot. It never set up the sell side for me. It's done all the things. I was looking for the weekly pivot to be broken or touched, and then for a rollback and a break of the daily. Never happened. So trade I stayed out of effectively by having patience. Anyway, today is pushed on through and already daily wise, well, put some higher lows in here, so it's just changing the structure of the market somewhat. So this downward trend, it's still a downward trend at the stage, but there's a bit of structural changing going on the shorter time frames. Just need to be aware of that. There's nothing I've got immediately that I want to be selling or trading there at this stage. The pound, well, it's been consolidating. Yesterday consolidated some more, and today so far it's pushed up as well, and we've got run into sort of double top territory with a few days ago there. It's not touched the daily pivot, so the probability having broken the R1 it will run into its R2 at some stage. So really wait and see. Again, with this slight turn in the markets, there's nothing there for me at the moment. It's just a bit of patience and waiting for some decent setups. And now these may come as the day progresses, but they're not there right this moment. US dollar yen, just see the little red blip of today happening. Yesterday, well, we did see something happening there, but today, well, it's into its daily pivot at the moment. A breakdown further here, if we're seeing the markets, all the markets moving a breakdown beyond the 34 here. Could see us running down towards the S1. Got to be a bit careful you don't get too bullish too quickly, and all of a sudden miss the big trend, which is broadly upwards. So yeah, nothing sitting there as an obvious trade at the moment. Spike on the Aussie in the short time frames, just looking at what's happened here. So yesterday ended up closing up as well, but you look at this market, it's very iffy at the moment. It did trigger the early hours of the morning, the pullback to its weekly pivot, but not seeing a reaction to that for today. Well, it's already run into its R2 by the looks of things there. R1, R2 already hit, but you see how consolidated it is now. It just, yeah, we could be starting to seeing something, but it's not ready for me quite yet. Well, I'm not ready for it, whichever way it may be. US dollar CAD, again, well, yesterday Still quite a negative day yesterday, largely, but in fact, we closed underwater. It's having a retrace at this stage here. Uh, it, it could be all change this morning. You look at the things like this, it was just as we saw all change yesterday. It sort of ran down to 1 o'clock. We saw on a lot of these markets. Morning, guys. We saw all things changed, and it turned round, and well, we're seeing the consequences of that there. But now, is it going to change earlier this morning? Switch the other way? Need to wait and see. But as I say, it's too easy to get looking at the short time frame without looking at these big time frames, which are still bullish US dollar effectively. New Zealand dollar again retraced through the Asian session there into its weekly pivot. No reaction to that, so we'll see. It's again run up through its R1, R2 this morning. I was looking to short it yesterday, got very close, put a sell stop in there and then removed it after it didn't do anything. Thank goodness for that. That would have been stopped. It was looking good for the downside, but never happened. It's a patience game, and it paid off, and knowing when to close the trades or stop the orders. Dollar Swissy, suddenly a little bit of weakness here. It doesn't take long to make it look a bit sort of on the weaker basis again with the dollar here. So just coming off at the moment, it's been a clean cut off there. Lower highs coming through already, well, pretty close to its S1. S2 could be on the way if it does catch down that far. Trouble when you start getting these potential moves in these markets is that it can easily catch you out. Now the euro yen, remember this is one of the most sold pairings by retail traders. Well, yesterday managed to rally back into the highs, and it's just broken the highs this morning slightly by looks of things there, but it's looking a bit on the ugly side. Couldn't see anything to do with it yesterday. In fact, yesterday later in the morning it gave me a long trade and hit one of my strategies and gave me a nice little return there. But this morning it's just chopping here at this stage. Got an untouched pivot, but well, it's a race really to see which way it runs, if it can break out. They can be a bit dodgy at this time in the morning, the breakouts. Just got to wait and be patient, but if it can break out of this, it might well have a continuation. It is sort of sitting around those prior highs, as I mentioned. Just needs a bit of momentum now. Euro pound, this has been one that's up and down like a yo-yo. In the short term here, did react to its weekly pivot here. It's catching a bit of a bounce again at the moment. It's swinging back both ways really. It had put a higher low in there yesterday. I'm in the position on this. I did actually drag my stop down a little bit because I just thought, well, I'm going to get stopped down here, but it hasn't so far. But we'll see how things develop this morning. Just be patient on this, but nothing to add on it at the moment. It's just gone a bit slow, as it often does, that pair. Euro or Aussie, well, traders were looking at this, and I was answering questions about, I can't see it now, no, it wasn't Euro Aussie, I was asking, it was Euro CAD, but this is another one. It was looking like it was going to break out of this close range here, where it did later in the day there, only to pull back here. It's now tested the lows of that range again now. It's certainly slowed down, not really going anywhere, not clear. Euro CAD, well, this is gradually pushing its way, looking like it might want to get back into the prior highs there. I mean, it's been so choppy for so long on this 4 hourly time frame. It's almost inevitable it's going to fire one by the other, and at the moment it's pushed to the upside, and hanging in there. Nothing for me at this stage with this sort of double top. Just not appealing. It's more bullish than anything else on this bigger picture. Pound Aussie is a mess on the short time frame. You can just see last 2 days not really going anywhere. Yes, this might push out one by the other at some stage, but it won't be with me in it. Pound CAD, another one pushing to the upside. Again, the trend is strongly up here, or more, even stronger than the Euro CAD, and well, it's just pushing up for now. Again, no trades. It's just the way it sits at the moment. Sometimes you get these some of these markets having a little reversal. It may be worth, as I say, being patient. Occasionally they'll reverse, other times they'll reverse back in the original trend. Other times it is something more of a structural change. But the problem is, I have to say problem, it's not much of a problem. Just sit and wait. Just pop some alerts in and sit and wait. Nothing here I can see of any interest at this stage. Quick look at gold. Gold, no surprise here to see it just again catching a little bit of the bid side of things. Has broken those prior lows. Still not favoured in the bigger scheme of things, but some of these moves might just give us an opportunity to grab a short at some stage. Now this is just broken through its pivots, its weekly pivots here. Just need to see something coming the other side, and then we've got a target of those lows. Now it has double bottoms across these lows, so we could be looking at the depth between that little spike in between the double bottoms. That sort of depth pushing to the upside. There's no great guarantee that this is going to reverse when you see a double bottom completely. It just means we might get a bit more up. It just went down, didn't go the expected route of continuation there. Sold off, and is looking quite weak where it is at this stage. I really want to be long on it, and I don't want to be long onto it into a weak position, so I'll leave that for now. The equity market's got a bit of a boost through the Asian session here. CSI 300, after quite some time of selling off, it's caught a little bit of a bounce at least, but yeah, one bounce doesn't make them bullish at this stage anyway. The Nikkei again caught a little bit of a bounce over the last couple of days, but it's small old days, and it's hardly a sort of solid rallies. Nifty 50 again just holding above that 50. When it breaks that 50 MA, that would look more bearish, but at the moment just hanging in there for now. The Aussie 200, this market closed down, but we're gapped down, but again quite bearish over. It's starting to set this potentially. We'll see how and if it comes back as further. If it starts rolling over, could be interesting, but it can carry on bouncing for now. That's fine. It's still in a downward trend in this from this point in the intermediate time frame, so just patience needed there. Same with the Dow. Didn't actually quite even get up to its weekly pivot there. Double bottom, so a break of that area. I would expect a bit more. The Nasdaq was where it was at yesterday, but even that, I mean, it's moved up there, but okay, it's broken its weekly pivot there, looking a little bit stronger at the moment, but these could all suddenly foul. If they push on, they push on. That's great. I've been bullish on the markets for such a long time, but the current price action we've seen, these lower highs, lower lows, for me favours the downside. The big money favours the downside at the moment. The sentiment of the bigger traders is bearish, but who knows? Bit of timing after such a long period down. maybe a retrace, maybe see something a bit more significant. Looking over to the DAX catching the same sort of, well, again, it's working off this sort of double bottom price action it saw, and catching the more positive side was looking for the weekly pivot yesterday. We just ran through it. Again, the patience game here, it could set itself up. It's still technically in a downward trend, so need to wait, see if it runs that way. If it breaks the structure altogether, then leave it alone and then eventually look for longs. The FTSE is coming from looking on a daily basis, not really doing, it's not got much of a bounce in it so far. Yesterday it still ended up down. Doesn't help with the mining stocks coming off here as well. So yeah, quite negative looking. Maybe this is the one to be selling. If the other markets start rolling, this might roll just that bit more. Okay, that's pretty much it for today. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye for now.